What's going on, family? New day, new beginnings. Before we get started, hit that like and share button and subscribe to the channel. As you can see by the title of the thumbnail, Unveiling Deceptive Leaders. And the reason why I say that is because you have Brandon Johnson out in Chicago undermining the black people. You have, you know, Eric Adams in New York, who I think is finally coming to his senses, but the powers that be is coming for him. I have another video on that later on. But as you see, in these two cities, the the dysfunction amongst the people. People are fed up in regards to what's going on. In Chicago, them people, the black community is stepping up. They had enough of all of the BS. And I think that when it comes to politics, it's always the same play. The same play on offense, the same play on defense. And I think as a collective, we need to get more, how you can say, tactful in how we approach situations. It's the same old tricks over and over again, the same old tactics over and over again. And I put this at the feet of some of the old people, not all, but some of the old people, because they've been voting so long for nothing. I think both parties think it's a rite of passage. And that goes to show you the mindset of the people who vote. 'Cause I think people who vote are not that smart. They're just me. That's just my own opinion. And we fall for it all the time, continuously. Eventually, we need to start countering their tactics and be aware of them, knowing when they're coming, and have a rebuttal for everything that they say. Counter their rhetoric or rhetoric of common sense. If I'm doing something that's going to benefit you, then you need to do something that benefit me for my vote. And this is something I think black people across America is eventually starting to get. Quid pro quo, as Dr. Claude Anderson would say, something for something. You can't have nothing and you keep putting your words, and your vote behind them. And that's something I think that they usually take us for granted for. You eventually got to stop playing senile as a whole, as a collective, because a lot of us, we play senile. A lot of our grandparents, great grandparents have been voting for decades without no sort of, research on the candidates. And then they raise the kids, they do the same, then the kids raise their kids. It's like the same old mess. It's like ignorance breeding ignorance, in the way a lot of us think. And when you see that, for decades and decades, that's just a stubbornness, not trying to understand how to deviate from things the way it's supposed to be. And I think that's the issue. You know, these leaders that they put in front of us, they're very deceptive, from all levels, senators, governors, the president, our council, individuals on a local level. And we sit here and allow it, and I'm not too sure if it's weakness in our spirit, because I realize something. We have heat for each other, but we don't want to hold those in power accountable. It's happening now, though. It's happening now. But we still got a small percentage of individuals who just, for some reason, accept the neglect that they show us day in and day out. You can hear it in the rhetoric with this whole situation going on right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You hear the disgust in everybody's voice aimed at us. And I sometimes say to myself, where's that spirit that we have for each other? That hatred we have for our fellow man when we want to gun them down, when we want to do something to them violently. But when you turn around, the real individuals who are doing, the silent crimes, the silent injustice, we just let it go. And I think that we need to start applying more pressure. And like I said, oppression and accountability to these deceptive leaders. And the deceptive leaders, like I said, they're only there because they deceived us into voting for them. Let me tell you something, right? Just because you black doesn't mean I want to vote for you. And I think we need to get that out of our heads, our minds. Yes, we want to see a black person in power, doing something good. But a lot of these black leaders, they care nothing for us. Just look at the Black Caucus. They're useless, and the NAACP useless. They're not doing anything. But we still sit here and support them. One day y'all gonna wake up and say, "Hey, y'all not doing anything beneficial for us, but you're doing everything beneficial for everybody else." Start being selfish with your vote, and things are gonna start happening. The more you outsource your power, the less powerful you will be as a collective. And I think they're starting to see that, because you're seeing the tide eventually change, and the tide needs to stay consistent. And what I mean by consistent, don't waver, and it's being done purposely. It's not being done accidentally. It's being done purposely because it's been going on for decades. But now you see it more harsh. You see it more. The deceptiveness is more stern. Family, do not waver. Stay on track and stay focused. Something for something. Do not give something for nothing. That's a mindset that's defeated. Like I said, family, hit that like and share button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.